Hey everybody, this is Kevin here with Ken's Sewing Center in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Today I want to talk to you about the Janome Skyline S3. This machine is probably one of the most versatile models Janome has ever made. It has a lot of features going for it, so let's talk about all the things this machine can do for you, and it is such a great affordable price. This is not an entry-level machine by any means. You're getting close to top of the line in the Janome series with this machine as far as what it can do. There's not many models above it that can do everything this one can do. First of all, on our placard we have 120 built in sewing utility stitches. We'll go into what each stitch does a little bit later on in the video, but you have all the stitches, the most popular stitches that you're going to need, and then some. Plenty of stitches to grow into. Everything is by modes here. I have modes through 5, and it's real easy on my screen to dial up the stitches that I want to do. I have the top winding bobbin on the machine. We do have the horizontal spool pin. I can also use a vertical spool pin for doing twin needle sewing, but everything's going to be channeled for me all the way down to my needle on the S3. And then on the needle I do have a built-in needle threader here to thread that needle for me. I will have the automatic tension. That's one thing you generally do not find on a machine in this price range. So I never have to worry about tensions, but there are times we may want to override the tensions for gathering, or you may have a strange irregular fabric that we may need to override the automatic setting for. It's real easy to do, and we can help you all along the way. The S3 is fully computerized. All the controls are going to be right here in front of me, so I don't have to hunt for anything on the machine. We have the automatic speed slider, overrides the speed of my machine for me, and then I have the built-in scissor. I can snip my threads at any given time at my beck and call just by hitting that button. You'll be surprised how many times you grab your scissors to do snipping and things of that nature. I do have the needle up, needle down feature on this machine. There's times I want that needle to stop in the fabric and times I want it to stop out of the fabric. We will have the auto lock feature built in. Auto lock ties the stitch off for me underneath so it's hidden and out of the way. That is super nice to have. It's going to make my stitching on top look so much better because I don't see the ugly back tack any longer. It's hidden and out of the way. I do have traditional reverse built in on the machine. If you want to use that, I can use this machine with or without the foot control with the start stop button. That's really nice to have. Sometimes we get used to either one, either or, so I have that at my beck and call any given time. Have the huge metal needle plate. The top drop-in bobbin system on this particular machine is real easy for me to thread. I can pop the cover, and then there's one slit I put the thread through, and it's channeled as well on my bobbin. So as I'm noticing all along the way here, I can raise my presser foot up. I have extra high lift under my presser foot. So for those thicker pieces of material, that is very nice to have. Don't have to worry about, can I get my fabric under the foot? You're going to have the extra high lift. I have the 7-point feed dog system on the machine. The more surface area I have touching my fabric, the better off I'm going to be. It's going to feed all that material for me at one time. It reduces puckering. And what it does, it keeps my fabric flat as the needle's penetrating the garment. On knits and stretch material, you'll love the feed dog system on this machine. It's going to help reduce puckering so much. And if you do need a walking foot, you can get that. For this particular machine, there will actually be a feed dog at the top, grabbing your fabric at the top, working in the same ratio the feed dog's built into the machine. Ken's Sewing Center will carry all the optional accessories for the Skyline S3. We can help you select any kind of accessory that you may have need of. From my needle to the inside of the sewing arm is 8 1/4 inches. That is huge for a machine in this price range. You will not find many machines on the market that's going to give you that. And then I have a little over 5 inches in height. So you quilters will really love that. I can roll my finished product up right here. If I'm working with a dress or a larger piece of material, just got more surface area right here. I'm not having to wrestle with it. It's not a tight area. I'm going to be able to do what I need to do. And then as I move my accessory tray, I have a lot longer, bigger free arm here. So if I'm hemming a pair of pant legs, shirt sleeve, I'm able to do that. I was just in a store the other day looking at denim blue jeans and noticing a lot of decorative embellishment on those blue jean legs a little bit further up. So you're going to have that ability as well to be able to get your design, your stitching further up a garment, which you can't do on a lot of machines because the throat space on these are not going to be that large. Well, you don't have to worry about that with the Skyline S3. There is a ruler built into the housing of the machine that will help you keep fabric straight, doing measuring. And that's just another nice thing that Janome's thought out on the S3 that you just don't see on a lot of models. That's really handy to have. You'll use that so often. And then I like on the S3 how the accessory tray opens toward me. So I'm already in front of my machine, I'm looking down, I can select the accessory that I need. You have plenty of storage in the accessory tray to get all my standard accessories, as well as plenty of room for optional accessories, because as time goes on, you're going to add things to the machine. Another great thing about the S3 is I do have adjustable pressure here. I can regulate the amount of force being pressed down onto my pressure foot here. So for lighter weight materials, I may need to have a little bit more pressure just to keep my fabric pressed down firmly onto the feed dog so the machine can feed it correctly. All my computer controls are right here on my touchpad. I have a really spacious LCD screen here. There's a lot of information that they give me for each stitch on the machine. It gives me a little picture of what the stitch is. Here I can adjust my stitch width and my stitch length, so I can go up on my stitch width, up and down on my stitch length. Here's where I select what mode I'm in corresponding to my placard up here, so I can know at any given time what stitch I'm on. I can program thread cuts, I can program automatic tie-offs on my stitches. Here I can just dial up the number of the stitch that I want to do, and the machine will pull that up for me. It will recommend a pressure foot. All the Janome pressure feet have letters indented into them, so I know exactly what pressure foot I need to have on the machine at any given time. I can fast forward a little bit through my stitch diagram. I do have the most popular stitches. Of course, straight stitch will be your most popular. There's times I want to move my needle all the way over. That is probably the second most popular. I can memorize stitches. I can go into my one-step buttonholes, and again, notice it changes on the screen for me, shows me what buttonhole that I have it on. I can mirror image stitches here, which will almost give me a duplicate of the amount of stitches built onto the machine. There's times if I mirror image a stitch that it's going to help me if I'm trying to get around a pocket or maybe a button or something like that, or I just want to use it for a decorative effect. I'm able to do that. There are stitches programmed in for doing twin needle sewing. That is really handy to have. The machine is going to come with a lot of standard accessories, but Ken Sewing Center carries all the optional presser feet for the Skyline S3. If I'm doing sewing on the machine, it's going to be able to handle a lot of heavier materials. I know we do this demonstration quite often, but it's really handy to know that the machine can handle, before I purchase, heavier pieces of material. This is probably the heaviest that you'll ever do. The machine will be able to allow me to get those thicker pieces of material underneath. And for demonstration purpose, we'll go really slow, but I want to show you just how this machine can crawl up and over or crawl down. This is the beauty part about automatic tension and the top drop-in bobbin system on the machine. The automatic tension is going to automatically adjust my tension accordingly. I've got enough pressure on the presser foot and also my fabric. I'm not having to do a lot of guiding at all of the fabric to get it where I want to go. It's going to pretty much keep it straight for me, but I want to keep my hand on it. Now we'll go a little faster. Now get to the end of my seam, I'm going to hit that auto lock. Auto lock's going to tie that stitch off for me underneath so it's hidden and out of the way. I can hit my scissor. It'll snip that thread for me. I can raise that presser foot up and get my fabric out from underneath it. I will have a little razor on the side of the machine that I can rake that thread across. And here I've sewn extremely heavy to a cotton, to a stretch material with no problem whatsoever. The Skyline S3 has 120 sewing utility and decorative stitches built in. The way the machine is laid out, it makes it really easy for us to get to all the stitches on the machine. I have mode 1, I have mode 2, and I have mode 3. Mode 1 is going to be my most popular utility stitches. Now I have your straight stitch, and I can adjust the stitch length and the stitch width on all my stitches, but straight stitch we want to adjust width. We use the width button to actually move the needle over. I can move the needle over left of center or right of center just by hitting my width button if I have it on straight stitch, and that's very handy to have if you're wanting to put in a zipper, cording, piping. You need to get your needle really close up to a certain item on a garment. Moving that needle over is critical in doing that. You can't do that just on any machine, but the S3 will allow us to do that. I can hit a button, it's going to move it all the way over to the left. This is center. I do have the straight stretch stitch. I'll sew 2 stitches forward and 1 reverse for my knits and stretch material. As I move over, of course, you're going to have zigzag. We can adjust that width all the way up to 7 millimeters. I have overcasting stitches here, 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 and here. That mimics what a serger does. A lot of times this stitch right here uses a blanket stitch. And then I have blind hem stitches. You can do invisible blind hems into garments, and the tacks are different. Some of them are blunt tack, some of them are sharp tack on this machine, and we can adjust the width and the length on all that as well. We also have all these different styles of one-step buttonhole built in. Now, the Skyline S3 is going to come with a specialized one-step buttonhole foot. This attachment allows me to place the button that I'm working with here, and it's going to size it every time to these particular buttonhole styles. So if I have the standard square end, a rounded on both ends, your keyhole, and this is used for stretch material. So you're going to have in our utility mode plenty of stitches to do all the different types of sewing applications that you want to do. Then when I go to mode 2, I get into more quilting and heirloom type stitches. I have all these different applique stitches, and notice some are darker than the other. If it's dark, it's going to sew 2 stitches forward, and then it'll sew 2 stitches out, so it makes the applique stitch a lot thicker. I can adjust the length and the width of those tacks in between, so I have all these different styles for my applique work. These next 3-4 stitches here, all this is going to be kind of in the heirloom family. If you get a wing needle, and Ken Sewing Center will carry all the optional accessories. We can help you with all kind of needles for these machines, but you get a wing needle and it actually will punch a hole into the material as I'm working with and adding the heirloom stitches to my garments. So if you're doing napkins, if you're doing little girls' dresses, things of that nature, where you're doing some delicate embellishment of items, you're going to have those stitches built into the machine as well. As we move down the stitch placard, I'm going to have a lot more decorative. Here's my scallop family. I have the serpentine stitch, more than one style of that, and then I have the old-timey feather or the briar stitch. My grandmother used to sew this one on by hand. I have many quilts put up that she did. She loves doing quilting by hand. Here I have this stitch built into the machine. I can adjust the width and the length of these tacks just by the touch of a button. And then as I move on down to the bottom part of my placard here, I'll have more decorative stitches. I can move my needles over here. I have stretch stitches here, and then I get into more decorative embellishments here. We can actually memorize these and make decorative borders with all these stitches here. I've seen a lot of quilters use these stitches and add them if you're doing, say, a neckline or napkins. A lot of things where you want a decorative border just to set off something. I've seen these on dress shirts and things of that nature. So there's all kind of things you can play with and add and combine all these different stitches. Then I get down into mode 3, which will be all of my alphabet fonts. I have these 3 alphabet fonts built in. They will go up to 7 millimeters in width. And that's the widest the machine will do. I have upper, lowercase, punctuation on these machines. So let's say that I want to do an initial on a dress shirt. It makes it really easy to do. I know growing up I had an older brother and a younger brother, and my mother couldn't keep our socks together, so she would actually just put our first initial onto that. So there's all kind of little uses for these, but quilt tags, garment labels, things of that nature, you can use all these stitches. Ken Sewing Center is your authorized Janome dealer. We carry everything that's made for the Janome Skyline S3. You're going to get our premium support package with any machine you purchase from us. What does that mean? We have 4 full-time technicians at our store. This is nationwide. You can call us anytime. We're open 6 days a week. We answer emails all the time. You can drop us an email as well. We'll be able to help you with any kind of question you have need of for your machine, for the life you own it. We don't want you to be sitting there frustrated, not being able to use it. I have technicians and educators at our store to help you any given time. Do not hesitate. Check out our website. We have a lot more information on the Skyline S3, or give us a call anytime. We'll be glad to help you.